Welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Matthew Moore in Istanbul. Still ahead on the programme, find out why Twitter is betting big on sound from the cloud. Now, nearly every day since the Panama Papers were leaked in April this year, the world has awoken to new revelations about the leaders who govern them, the celebrities they adore, and the criminals they fear. So we've sent our editor-at-large, Craig Kapitas, to do some more digging. First, Craig went to Miami, where he sat down for cookies with a former offshore tax lawyer. He then travelled to Portobello in the north of Panama to explain the origins of tax havens. And in today's third instalment of the Panama Paper Trail, Craig visits Panama City to explain exactly how shell companies work.
The jungle passage from the ancient Spanish treasure store of Portobello to the electronic banks of Panama City is still called Camino Real, the Royal Path. For nearly 200 years, some 60% of the gold and silver looted by the conquistadors traveled down this road before shipment to the royal families of Europe.
5 centuries and 11 million documents later, the quest for hidden treasure has moved to this glass house behind me.
Behind these mirrored windows is the headquarters of Mossack Fonseca, a law firm with 30 offices around the world and the unwilling source of the Panama Papers. Between 2005 and 2015, Mossack Fonseca established more than 200,000 offshore structures for some 360,000 clients. All of them were legitimate entities under Panamanian law. Here's how it works. Let's assume that you're the owner of a British firm that exports teacups to the United States. It costs you 25 cents a piece to manufacture the cup, and you sell it for $1 a cup. So instead of selling the teacups directly from your UK office, paying local taxes on the profit, you sell the cups to your Panamanian corporation for 50 cents a piece. Your Panamanian company then resells them to your American customers for $1 a cup, providing you with a tidy 50-cent per cup profit in a tax-free jurisdiction. The Panama Papers drew back the curtain on the names of those who actually pulled the strings at those companies Mossack Fonseca created for them. An unknown whistleblower leaked the data to the German newspaper Süddeutsche Zeitung and the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, who in turn shared it with investigative reporters around the world. The cascade effect was instantaneous and reminiscent of a scene in the film Casablanca.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Politicians cried foul, and dozens of governments launched their own investigations into Mossack Fonseca, a shell maker that financial watchdogs say is responsible for hatching almost 10% of the world's offshore shell corporations. But the Panamanians aren't talking for now.
Well, Craig is back from Panama and with us in the studio. Craig, I loved your report, original journalism going through Panama City, but I'm afraid the best bit about it was a little clip from Casablanca. Just remind us, why did you choose that? It's about hypocrisy, right?
It is about hypocrisy, total hypocrisy. Every political leader in the world for centuries has known this has been going on. And for any of them to say they don't know what's going on is pretty disingenuous.
Right. Now let's talk about the teacups example you gave us here. You take the teacups, you pretend that you're selling them from Panama, and then you get to keep more of the profit because it's a tax haven. Look, this may be legitimate and may be going on for decades, but people nowadays think it's an absolute scam.
Change the law.
Right.
Change the law.
Will
you
we
don't
see
like
that?
it? No, I don't think it will change. But this is what it boils down to. People have elected their Democratic representatives for decades. It's like the gun argument. You don't like it? Change the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. You don't like this? You change the law. You make it illegal to do it. But there's so much money involved in offshore shelling that it's really unlikely it's going to be done.
Look, recently we saw Nigeria's president turning up for a big anti-corruption conference in Britain, and he said it's all very well you guys telling us to clean up our act, but what about you guys? So you've got Britain that controls the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, Jersey, the Virgin Islands. Even in the United States, you've got money being hidden away in certain states that make concessions. It is a problem globally, really, isn't it?
Oh, it is. This problem is just not exclusive to exotic places like Panama, Costa Rica, or whatever. This is happening in the United States, the UK, and in fact, it was the UK that actually made offshore havens acceptable.
Right, putting their British stamp of approval on it, if you like.
Absolutely. You know that fancy voice you use, Matthew?
Well,
that's
thank
how
you very
it is.
much, Craig. Do come again. Well, Craig, for now, that's all for now. Tomorrow, Craig will be giving us a step-by-step guide to opening your own shell company in his penultimate Panama paper trail piece. Well, let's stay with Britain, and in just over a week, the United Kingdom will vote on whether it wants to remain part of the European Union. The result is far from clear. The latest polls have those in favour ahead, and the markets are frightened. Britain's index of leading shares, the FTSE 100, has been up and down all week. Now, shares earlier today were up, but that follows 4 straight sessions of losses. Traders, it seems, are trying to protect their investments in the event of a Brexit, and that's why they seem to be selling British companies. The value of the pound has also been dropping over the last 5 days. The price of the UK currency, also known as sterling, is falling against both the US dollar and the euro. It's also lost out against the Turkish lira, which, as we heard earlier, is itself under pressure. Now, amid all the talk about what Brexit might mean for the markets, economies and companies, though, what are you worried about? In this week's Q&A segment, we let Frances Asquith put her question to the expert.
My name is Frances Asquith. I live in New York. I would like to know if you think the pound is going to be weakest before the Brexit vote or afterwards.
Well, Frances, nobody likes uncertainty, and certainly investors, banks, the world generally hates uncertainty. And if Britain pulls out of the EU, that's a big load of uncertainty, and that will mean that sterling, I think, will take quite a major dive. Of course, it's not completely unexpected, so it might not drop as much as it might have done if this had come completely out of the blue. But I think for, well, probably a year or 2 years, maybe more, sterling will be low. Now, I don't know that exactly. I don't have facts. Nobody has facts. Nobody really knows. But I think that is the likelihood, at least in the short to medium term.
Let's turn to technology now, and Twitter is betting on the future of streaming music. The social network is investing $70 million in SoundCloud. That's an audio streaming platform. Now, last year, Twitter planned to acquire the company for $2 billion, but the deal fell through. So could this investment be Twitter's latest attempt at SoundCloud takeover? Let's step back for a moment and take a look at what SoundCloud actually is. Now, it's an online audio distribution platform. It's used to upload and share audio content like music, sound effects, podcasts, and discussions. Now, tens of thousands of people put up original content on the platform, and there are about 200 million listeners each month. It's valued at around $700 million, and so far, 9 different investors have invested about $230 million in it. Now, let's take a look at some of the big stories in business and finance developing over the next 24 hours. Tomorrow, it's exactly 1 week until that very important European Union referendum in the UK, as we mentioned a moment ago, and we'll be ramping up our coverage of that. Now, for those fascinated by finance, the International Economic Forum kicks off in St. Petersburg in Russia. Heads of state and CEOs are attending that. And in mainland China, this is the fun bit, Walt Disney will officially open its first theme park in Shanghai. We'll have more on that here on Money Talks. Football fans are a passionate and loyal bunch, and about 1.5 million of them are travelling to France to watch the Euro 2016 tournament, which is now well underway. But the costs associated with travelling there mean the beautiful game is pretty expensive to follow, as Semra Hunter explains.
I could say a couple of thousands for all the three games.
It's well in the thousands.
Maybe $30,000 all up.
It's probably like 2,000 to 3,000 euros.
Yes, everything has a price. But for some, following their national football team across France is priceless. Here in Euro 2016, Albania qualified for their first ever major tournament, and fans have flown in from far and wide to cheer the boys in red.
You can see the energy here. There's, like I said, you know, this city apparently has 35,000 people. I'm sure there are that many Albanians here today. So, I mean, it's really exciting. It's our first time at a major tournament, so we're really happy to be here.
But what if you found yourself still in Albania's capital, Tirana, and fancied a last-minute trip to Marseille to watch Albania play their second group stage match against France? Well, on the day, a direct flight to get you there in time for kickoff will set you back around $600. We managed to find a 2-night stay in Marseille for a bargain $260, and on the official page, a low-end ticket will only set you back around $80. Throw in some spending money, and you're looking at around $1,000 all in, which is more than twice the average monthly income in Albania. Here in France, it seems many Albanians will have been priced out, a big portion of the team's support coming from expat Albanians around the world, many of whom had to crack open the piggy bank to make the trip.
I talked to people here who said they've spent their whole life savings just to get here, and obviously means a lot. And there's people from all over the place. I heard there's people from Australia, from Alaska, all over the world come to support.
Between a group of us, probably maybe $30,000 all up, combined.
Eight people in the group.
We don't really want to disclose the exact amounts of money, but it's well in the thousands. I could say a couple of thousands for all the three games, group stages games. So I mean, well, we don't care. I mean, we are there just just to be proud.
You can't put an amount of money on this. I mean, the pride that people have here and the joy of being able to support your home country, it's there's no price you can put on that.
For just one football match, and as you can see, it's very much worth it.
Well, that's passion and excitement for you. Football fans spending their life savings in some cases, and Semra Hunter there caught up in all the action. Well, that is it from us for now. Stay with TRT World. We'll have all the news after this short break. Thanks for watching Money Talks.